and introduce our players. Spawning in the bottom left of 2,000 atmospheres. It's our Red Terran player playing for KaiZ Gaming. This is Innovation. And spawning in the top right, playing for the Afrika Freaks. This is Armani. Now, both of these players have had a very good set of runs going in recent GSL events. I mean, of course, Innovation, our Red Terran player, constantly a consummate professional in the StarCraft 2 world in terms of just like solid gameplay for Terrans. There isn't ever a season where Innovation isn't an actual threat for all of the different players in the groups that get picked out. And of course, we're going to watch Innovation try to unfold more opportunities in upcoming GSL events. Of course, Season 2 is going to be winding up here very, very soon. Qualifiers are going to be taking place on May 30th and 31st, so we'll have to see who's going to be lumped into these groups. Of course, Inno's going to be able to make it onto Code S, but we're kind of watching things unfold with Code A, so should be very, very good. And of course, Armani has been very, very confident as of late, representing some very good Zerg play, showing a lot of talent with the Afrika Freaks. So. Now, in this best of 5 series, rather, excuse me, let me get the correct overlay going here. We have a wide variety of opportunities that can come up for both of these players. So game number 1 could possibly be a very normal standard game. That's not uncommon for the Zerg and Terran players of the Korean scene to just, you know what, dial in game number 1. I got a lot of respect for my opponent and just taking care of business as we move on forward into this series. We got a lot of games to play. We don't have to pull out anything too terribly crazy right now. Innovation will be able to come in here with a Reaper, induce just a little bit of light harassment. We did see the third base of Armani go down, and this is kind of an interesting location here, dropping out into the front side of the base rather than just the back side. Very, very interesting here. Now, look at this Innovation going for a very, very quick third base here. We're starting to see this a lot in the, especially Korean Terran play right now, taking this very aggressive early third. It allows for more economic advantage. And I mean, really right now, what can Armani do to really punish that? I mean, you need to come across the map with a really sick timing to punish this command center coming down. And until Armani gets a chance to scout here, he's not going to have a whole lot to go off of. So we're going to have to see when that Overlord decides to go back in and get a little bit of information for Armani. More than likely going to be around that 4-minute mark to try and see what tech structures are going to be down. Ooh, but look at this. Already a Roach Warren down in the back of the natural expansion. Has Innovation had a chance to see this? No, there's no Roach Warren, but that's very, very early. That's the kind of all-in pressure that could potentially knock down this early third base. So right now, Armani is trying to posture himself. He does not want this this Reaper to discover what's going to be coming in just a little bit. This is kind of dialing up here. A little bit of added pressure going forward. Innovation is going to be in a tight spot here. 8 roaches popping out onto the tab right now. The Overlord has seen it. He has confirmed that this is in fact going to be quick third command center. So right now, the unit composition of Innovation is rather low. It's just a few Hellions out on the map right now, alongside 1 singular Viking and 1 Marine back at home. And you know what's really good against Hellions? Roaches. And roaches in high numbers as well. Zergling's going to be swarming across the map as well. Armani's going to make this a nice little push, and he's going to have Ravagers on the back side of it. He doesn't have a whole lot of gas, so he's going to have to make the most of what he has right now. Innovation going to try and get a little bit of harassment here at the third base location, but I'm not sure that that matters so much for Armani. He just needs this army to get across the map and deal a heck of a lot of damage here. Double engineering bay. Innovation doesn't know that this is coming, and only now is he going to see all of the Zerg coming at the front door. He's not prepared, and Innovation is going to have to pull lots of workers here. But where are they going to pull to? All these workers are caught onto the ramp. They're going to get a decent surround here onto these units, but the Roaches right now are able to attack across the board. They can get across the wall. Great Ravager Biles are going to be picking things off, and that is going to be it. Armani takes game number 1 in this best-of-5 series between these two players. GG. It's getting spicy. It's our blue Zerg player for the Afrika Freaks. This is Armani. And spawning in the bottom center and the top left. It's our red Terran player for Kaizi Gaming. This is Innovation. Yeah, this is just like rude. You're not cool? No, I was having a conversation with someone else in the chat, Monday King. Like, we were talking, like, very specifically about how cool you were. I'm very confident of it. Rushi, what webcam are you using? I'm using the Logitech Brio. It's a very nice webcam. It does a very good job. And I have I'm very fortunate. I have a very nice lighting setup as well. I cannot tell you how powerful good lighting is when it comes to being on webcam. Like, there's a reason the TV studios that you love and respect so much have, like, hundreds of, well, not thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of dollars invested into lighting. Yeah, I told you, Monday King. Told you. But now that means you gotta go click the link. Gotta go use that code. Yeah, I hate to say that this is even, like, this isn't even a BM build. This is just a, I'm mad that I lost to you so easily build. So, Armani's going to be able to defend this, though. Yeah, he's going to get a great surround on this. It's just going to place down for the second bunker. Not a whole lot of damage done onto the SCV, though. But has this been delayed long enough? The Zerglings are on the way out. In fact, they're already out. Yeah, I think there's no way Innovation holds this. There's no way. I mean, not even the best micro in the world is going to be able to protect him from this. He's going to get a fair amount of damage, sure, but no. Armani's like, no, sit down, man. Get out of here. Get out of here with your... Oh, I got to change that. I'm sorry. I forgot. Please ignore. I forgot to change that from last night. Oh, whoops. That's okay. This is just a small extension of the Cell Pro Tour, apparently. Whoops. I mean, to Innovation's credit, he is coming along here with a fair amount of aggression. But as Queens get brought out to the mix, I mean, this is a hold. This is a full-on hold. Armani has so many workers. I guess he transferred a few from there. That is it. Now, Innovation's going to play this out, but he has not given himself the advantage that he was hoping for here in this game number 2. I think he was absolutely hoping to just catch Armani on the reverse and be like, haha, make it a 1-1. But instead, Innovation's going to have to throw down that natural base, which he's already done. He's getting into a 1-1-1, so this will have a fair transition behind it. But Armani's already out to his third base location, and he's going to be getting just a classic amount of drones. It's basically Rushi around the clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, rush clock, rock. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, it's the musician in me. You can't have your degree in music and not occasionally just burst out into song. I'm like every musical character you've ever seen. This whole thing's not realistic. Nobody just bursts out into song randomly. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Yeah, good old armory here. So this will turn into, it's going to turn into a Hellbat timing. This is bold. I love it. So there will be an army back behind this, so there will be some Hellbats alongside of what will end up being this nice little push of units. But there's not going to be that many Hellions with it. I mean, probably, what, 4, maybe 6 if we hurry? Is this live or replay, guys? This is live, baby. I watch the players that talk and do picks and bans already. Oh, that's actually a really good pick off here. Grabbing one of those overlords that's going to stunt a little bit of this push, and this is going to actually be kind of an interesting little pinch here. The Hellions are going to come on the back side of this. Oh, taking a little bit off the top of that evolution chamber, but now the Hellbats are here and things are getting dicey. Sound re-enabled. We want to hear all of the chaos here. This is kind of going sideways here for ARMANI. He does get a really good engagement, though, on the front side of those Hellions, but the Hellbats are just working a little bit too efficiently here. Good queen coverage here is going to make it a bit more difficult, but there's Zerglings on the opposite side of the map tearing through the main base. There's 12 workers that have gone down. ARMANI is held on. He got a really, really good counterattack as well. More of these workers are going to go down. Wow, ARMANI is going to possibly get up 2-0 in this series against Innovation. I think that's absolutely going to be the case. There's more links coming across the map, and ARMANI anchoring it down here in this best of 5 against his opponent. Needs to win 3 in a row if he'd like to advance on to the finals of this into the Alpha X Super Series. For Kaizi Gaming, this is Innovation. And spawning in the bottom right, our blue Zerg player, playing for the Afrika Freaks. 1 win away from advancing onto the finals. This is ARMANI. All right, where am I going to find the Alpha X logo? Oh, look at that. It's so gorgeous. So beautiful. So if you're Innovation, what's the approach that you need to take here to try and secure a Game 3 win? I think Blackburn has the best player opportunity, mostly because of this super ridiculously short main-to-main distance. Can very easily drop something spicy on the left side of ARMANI's main base. Really get some quick aggression out across the map. Maybe get some mines. Maybe even a Hellion drop. Honestly, a Hellion drop could be super impactful right here. But the reason why I don't like this too terribly much for Zerg players is it feels like there's a lot of weird choke points on this map. So I mean, you got that weird choke right here. Terrible high ground. I mean, this is terrible. Look at this. This is so powerful. You can control the third. You can control what could potentially be your fourth. You can control a large amount of the opening of the natural. I mean, that'd be so great for Innovation to take advantage of if he so chose to do that. So ultimately, good possible opportunity for Innovation here on game number 3. Do they pick maps for all the series? They did a normal pick and ban phase, and then pick all the maps in advance. There's a lot of Alpha X events, especially like the Alpha Pro Series, where they pick the first map and then losers pick the maps from there on out. But in the Super Series here, where we have these best of 5s, they follow the normal pick and ban pool. I don't exactly remember the exact order, but I think they each ban 1, and then they just pick back and forth. Oh, double cloak Banshee would be really good here on this map as well. I think this is also a good map for early command center as well. But it would not surprise me if ARMANI rushes to punish that, if he does end up scouting that again. He's going to have to fly in a little bit further this time around. Could easily be picked off. Just a 3 or 4 Marine push could end that scouting bit all the way entirely. Very early layer here. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. ARMANI's got some ideas. This feels very Mutaling Bane. And Mutas would be wonderful on this map for ARMANI. So Innovation gonna take the long way around here with these Hellions to get some work done. Here comes our first Banshee. I think this will end up being a better situation, and this is going to protect just in general if Armani was going into that quick roach timing. One Banshee's not going to completely negate all the damage, but it absolutely does a lot in taking away the staying power of that push. So it seems as if Innovation is just going to keep this same pressure on. Oh, he's just going to do a Nidus all-in. Really? Okay. I respect it. So we've got the Overlord coming in right here. This is actually a great place for a Nidus to sit. But it's just going to be Queens and Lings. Not even... No Banelings, right? Yeah, no Banelings. It's just going to be a Queen Ling Nidus all-in. Disgusting. Now, will these Hellions be enough to defeat this? I mean, Hellions are going to be relatively good against this type of build, but the question is, they're not going to be out on the map. Seems like it's going to be Queens in the main base. It's going to be Lings out at the front. Oh, this door's wide open. Oh, I think this is over. Oh, this game's over. Oh, no. Innovation. Innovation, are you just going to drop 3-0? Oh, I think he absolutely will. Picking off Stimpack is brutal, but not the reason he's going to die. There's not even going to be Queens brought along with this. This is just going to be a Ling Flood. It's going to deal terrible, terrible economy damage. Here come the Queens, though. Now the Queens are going to have more staying power in this engagement. There are so many Hellions, though. The Hellions could eventually clean all of this up. There are 15 workers down. There's nothing across the map for Innovation. He had to bring everything back home. He has one tank, and the Queens will deal pretty good damage against it, but it's a very good repair. This actually could be very scary damage here for Innovation. He's going to be able to clean a lot of this off. And okay, there is enough creep here that the Queens should have an exit strategy. But look at this, dropping down creep tumors. That's going to prevent this base from landing. Once again, the orbital command, though, is not going to last very long. Oh my gosh, there's so many. He's got spine crawlers. It's the style for me. It's just the pure styling from Armani. Now, don't let this supply count fool you. Down a base, spine crawlers up in the main. These Lings are going to get so much damage, and the Nidus network's just going to allow these Queens to continue rotating back and forth. This is a wild bit of damage from the blue Zerg player of the Afrika Freaks. And now that the Spine Crawlers are going to be allowed to complete, that means all of these buildings are going to be under attack. It's going to be very, very difficult for Innovation to try and reclaim this in a fair amount of time. To be fair, though, he has gotten out to that third base location, so that is going to be economic advantage that he can wrestle back in this series, and he does hold Armani just a little bit more honest here in this position. But the tank's going to be able to wrestle back the high ground. If he can clear the starport, I think he loses high ground vision. Is it going to be able to live? Oh, the repair in the last final seconds here. But this has been just a terrible battle for Innovation. He's gonna wrestle a little bit of this back, though. I mean, this is gonna take a while to recover from. But if you're Armani, have you done enough? You really don't have a whole lot on the back side of this. Just continuing to run units out across the map. These Lings will find more damage out at the second base location. This is a lot better situation because where does this float to? I mean, this is coming into the main base, but there's so much creep here. I mean, are you going to be able to clear all of these creep tumors? He will. He does have a scan available, but it's going to take forever. Yeah, we're looking at 3 base versus 1. Oh my... I don't think I've ever considered this in my life because that prevents the scan, doesn't it? The contamination goes down onto the orbital command. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so it just prevents SCV production. Fair enough. But what if it would have? What if it would have prevented the scan? That'd have been wild. All right, so we do finally have a follow-up here. It is going to be a Roach Warren. Is that going to be enough to defend here? I think the Ling production should still be okay. I mean, Armani's operating off of 3 bases here. He just needs to hold down 1 push. If he can hold back the 1 push, he should be fine. That's a pretty awful disparity here. 46 to 31. And Armani is a bit broke right now. 1 push to rule them all. Can Innovation make it work here? Tanks are going to be able to come forward. And Innovation needs to bring those a bit further forward if he wants to get a decent engagement here. There aren't going to be any roaches in this fight. It's just going to be Zerglings. And now we see those tanks starting to work in here. Queens have a ridiculous amount of transfuse energy available. This is not going well for Armani, though. He was not expecting Innovation to be able to push across the map. Stim? I barely know her. Innovation decides he's just going to win it with stimless Marines. Yeah, it's a great leapfrog. And now suddenly it's Innovation with the endless push across the map. He's going to get more of those roaches under his army belt, but it's not going to matter. These Ravagers coming in are going to be valuable, but I don't know that they're going to find the positioning that they need to be able to get damage done here. Innovation with the hold of the day. And he keeps himself in this best-of-5 series. 1-2 so far. But right now, it's just going to be another plain old opening. Doesn't have any crazy situations to it one way or the other. There's going to be one singular Marine, though. Yeah, this is what I love seeing. I love seeing the people in the chat type in an exclamation point Matcherino. Love it. It's a great start. Okay, Armani has a much better engagement here, holding off that Reaper. Only losing 1 Zergling this time around. Once again, though, it's going to be a follow-up command center. Yeah, I'm just gonna make the assumption that this is the new meta, because I think every Korean game of StarCraft I've seen in the last like month or two, this has been the case. I don't know if it's happening as much in the European and North American scene right now. Definitely not North American. I haven't seen that hardly at all. Maybe European as well. You did the Matcherino. Mr. Eagle, my hero. I appreciate it. What's the new meta? Super early command center. And maybe it's not new. I've admittedly been out of the casting the Korean scene for a while, and I'm just now returning. So it could be. You could be like, Rushi, this has been happening since February. And I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right. I would believe you. Why would you ever lie to me? All right, Banshee going to be coming in here. Armani is going to scout that early CC once again. No cloak this time around. It's just going to be a push right into Stim Pack. The creep spread's looking a little thin here right now. Armani is going to need to really work on that if he wants to negate the power of a portion of this push. Sky Toss is the meta. Oh, yeah. It's just so good. All 3 races just won in on the action. That's respectable. What does he have in the main? He is going to have a Spore Crawler. It's going to be a little bit late, but yeah, the Queen should be able to zone this all by itself. Innovation's not going to be able to get any major work done here. All right, so we're going back into some pretty stereotypical timings. It's going to be a 1-1 tank bio push. Push. Okay, Armani's getting a little bit better creep spread here. Innovation's doing his best, though, to try and draw this out. That 3rd base is going to get out on location very, very quick here. So Armani, who's decided to just go into Lingbane opening right now. No Spire just yet. The lair is already complete. So it's possible we could see a quick transition into Mutiling Bane, but right now it's just going to be 1-1 with melee and centrifugal hooks here against his opponent. What's queen count at right now? Queen count's only at 7. Not a ridiculously high number. But that means it's going to take really strong engagements with these Hellions to be able to mitigate their damage efforts. Yeah, there goes the Spire. It's kind of tucked away in the corner. 4th base has been scouted out. Tried to say spotted, went with scouted. Spouted came out. Hooray. Now we're going to have an armory as well, so the added benefit of being able to deal with the Mutiling Bane from the ground. These Hellions are going to be a little bit extra beefy. The Mutas are not going to be brought into the fight here, not unless these Zerglings can really turn the Army of Innovation around. And as it sits right now, yes, the entire army is going to come back home. He buys himself just a little bit of time. Even just a couple of seconds does make a huge difference when you're looking at a ZVT where the Zerg player can take that opportunity. Look at that. Now it's a few more Banelings in the fight. It's a few more units. It's a couple extra seconds for that Spire to finish up. But the Spire's now in a very dangerous forward location here. Even getting a couple of these tanks in on top of the 3rd base location could easily knock down that Spire and limit some of the technology push of ARMANI rather. Excuse me. These Zerglings though are going to get great engagement onto this army. Both of the tanks are going to go down, and most of the bio as well. Only 3 of those Marines end up remaining on a Zergling only push. Oh, this is not the engagement that ARMANI wants though. Hellions on the high ground. Something about high ground and flames. I'm having all sorts of hot fever flashbacks right now. Did the Banshees get any work done? No. They immediately backed off. Are they even still alive? Yeah, the one Banshee's still alive. Look at it go. It's living its best life. All right, ARMANI's done his job. He's bought himself enough time here. He has the Mutalisk count growing. He's got 13 already out. He's already going to pick up flyer upgrades. And now it's going to be his turn to push across the map and deal some damage. Innovation's going to have to come back home and respect this. It's going to cost him his sensor tower, which is admittedly fine. Not going to be any major issue here. But that's going to begin the Thor production as well as the Mutas show themselves and get themselves into the main mineral line where there is no turret just yet. So the Bio's going to have to stem up and get on top of this Muta force. Oh, there's a great push here out at the center of the map. The Queen's trying to engage onto the high ground. Not going to be as effective as they'd like to. But now Banelings are going to be brought into the 3rd base location. Can they find the damage that they're looking for? They're only going to be able to target Marines at this time and not really knock down any of those supply depot walls or the workers. So 8 worker kills is going to be where it remains for right now. Innovation, though, is able to get himself squared into a 4th base location. He will be able to get the planetary secured on top of it. Look at his production. He's going wild here. He's got 2-2 just about finished up here. His plus 1. Oh, I wish the colors were consistent on upgrades. My poor eyes. He's got +1 vehicle weapons. He's going to have drilling claws. He's getting a little bit of everything to help deal with the Mutiling Bane coverage. And honestly, ARMANI's doing a pretty good job with his creep spread here. A little bit light on the bottom side of the map, but nobody's perfect. Okay, Innovation going to have a little drop here at the 5th base location. He went south before he went north. And that's going to allow Innovation to be able to push up here. He goes south as well. The double drop alongside this army push in the center. It's going to start to cause a little bit of problems here for ARMANI, but ARMANI's going to be able to clean that up with those Mutalisks, so one of those medevacs not going to be able to escape. The second one, though, does have a little bit of health left on it. It'll continue to get some work done. Those mines didn't really find a whole lot of damage here. A few Zerglings get pulled off to mitigate some of the damage there. Oh, that's a great connection of Bio to Banes. But it still hasn't cleaned up the fact that there's a fair amount of Thors that are going to cause Armani as much trouble as possible if Innovation has anything to say about it. But Armani is just going to go straight up the belly of the beast here. Try to get those Zerglings into the third base location to deal a little bit of economic damage. They are going to find a better engagement here, pick off a few of those workers. I think the Mutas also picked off the drop on the top side of the map as well. So 12 workers going to go down. Innovation doesn't have a really good response at this current moment. So now these Mutas should be able to come in and get continued damage, getting on top of those turrets, as there's no way to mass repair those at this point. Innovation is going to have to just find a way to really get on top. There's enough of these Mutas that this Thor is not going to be able to engage all by itself. It will fall down. So now Innovation has to get some good damage across that. How many Mutas were killed by that mine? Maybe 3 at most. I'm not convinced that that mine did that much damage. Oh, Banelings! Oh, it's a great surround here. Can the units go where they need to? They absolutely can. That's going to take care of the bio. All the Thors are going to have to be airlifted out. And Armani is all over Innovation. He's going to get a really nice... positional advantage here over his Red Terran opponent. Oh no, Armani has decided he doesn't want to win the game anymore. Okay, oh, GG guys. Oh, it's a shame, really. Oh, this is deadly. It's actually not as deadly as I expected it to be. Few too many of those Banelings required to take down the planetary fortress. Not really leaving a lot of kills for the worker count, but taking off the base is going to be a really important part of this as well. More Lings, more Mutas going out to that third base location to deal more damage. Picking off that orbital command would be a devastating amount of damage here. He needs that orbital for the scans and for the mules, and it is going to go down. So now Armani's in a position where he just needs to hold this push. He loses a couple of hatcheries, sure, that's fine. He has more on the reserve, but he's got to be able to kill this army, and that is not going to do all of the damage it needs to be done. There's not a whole lot of staying power here. Just needs to bring those Mutas back from the opposite side of the map, and we'll be able to catch this on the retreat, especially since the Thor has been picked off here. It's just medevacs. There's no anti-air, and those Mutas should be able to clean things up, and suddenly Armani is starting to look a little bit better here in this engagement. Being able to move himself in and reposition is going to be so important, but he has to keep those Mutalisks alive. He cannot accidentally throw those away. 2 mine shots. The mine's not patient enough, though. They do incur a little bit of friendly fire, and now I think the Mutas have enough here. They can fight that bio and to push things off. Can he shove Innovation back here? The count is still close enough. Here come the Ultras. The Ultras are now going to be able to wrap this up for Armani in a 3-1 advantage here. Moves Armani into the grand finals over his opponent, Innovation. Very, very well played.